Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, this week on the No One Hockey Podcast, we have a lot to cover. So, we've decided we are going to try, we're probably going to break this up. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't happened yet.
Are we putting this as a podcast or just?
We'll put this as a.
We'll just put it as a free. No, just put it as a free agency video.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I will say, if you look closely, every video, we have 3 videos in between, so it all lines up nicely. But yes.
Well, what are we at now then?
This would be episode 4.
This would be this would be a podcast then? Okay.
Would you like it to be a podcast, or would you like it to be
I don't know.
free
Let's
agency?
just start talking and see where it ends up.
Okay. Well, we've already decided that because there's a lot of stuff. Okay, so just for historical reference, it is October 11th, 12:25 a.m. right now.
Pretty much like 2 days into
Central Time. So the most recent signing has been Nikita Zadorov has re-signed because he was in RFA status to the Chicago Blackhawks for $3.2 million in a 1-year contract. That's after the trade. I'm putting that out there just so for the record. Hall, Hoffman, Dadonov, and Pietrangelo are all on the table still, and I believe a couple other guys, but I can't think of any. Anthony Duclair's on the table still, actually, too. But he represents himself, which is weird. But and also we've already planned.
What do you mean you rep?
It's a long story. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, go for it.
Also, we've decided that we're going to make a Jet-specific video since we're going to be touching on that in its own right.
Yeah,
because there's just a lot of minor moves and a very big move that we all know. Yes. Which is, I can get into it now.
We have a lot more to say.
But there's more to say in terms of the overall arching of just the state of affairs, and we didn't think that it would get enough attention it deserved if we just included it in like the memoirs of this video. So, let's talk about the goaltending has been moving around the league. Because I wanted to bring this up last time. Devin Dubnyk is now a San Jose Shark. Who else? Matt Murray is now an Ottawa Senator.
Yeah, I don't like the contract he signed.
Yeah, no, that comes...
How many years was it again?
It's 4 years at $6.25 million.
It's funny. My issue is not necessarily with... Like, I think he's getting paid a little too much. Now, but the main issue is how long it is.
Really? You don't like the length?
I don't like the length.
You don't like the length more than the hit, the cap hit?
Just in the sense of, like, if you're Ottawa and right now you don't have to worry about having to sign big contracts. But, 4 years down the road, you might have to. And this is one of those things where it's like, or even 3 years down the road, they might have to. So I think that them paying him as much as they am right now is not the greatest. It's not very good. Mm-hmm. But could be worse. And the main worry I have is where if, say, some of the guys are going to develop pretty darn quick. Some of them will. Some of them will be ready pretty darn quick. And so then some of them are going to be up for due on contracts. And who knows? Maybe they pull a surprise and they can go and make kind of a bit of a run like Vancouver did, and maybe they possibly look.
Let's just focus on the goaltending.
Look that next.
I want to get into the Ottawa team as
that cap hit. That cap hit might bite them in the last year or two of that contract.
See, I disagree with you. I don't hate the term. I don't hate the length. I hate how much he made out of this, because yes, Ottawa has a lot of money on the table that they can use because they don't have high-end talent to pay towards it. That doesn't mean that you should start with Murray. Murray is a goaltender who has been very inconsistent, especially in the last 2 years.
No.
Just to put this in perspective, Connor Hellebuyck makes $6.16 million.
Okay, that's an awesome contract.
And Murray makes $6.25. 4 years, I actually agree with the 4 years, and here's why. You need a guy to stand there, and no matter what, as much as Craig Anderson is a really great human being, he isn't the goaltender that Matt Murray is. Matt Murray has a higher ceiling than Craig Anderson. He does. Now, like we talked about last week, does it run the risk of him being made out of glass? Yes. But that is a risk, I guess, with consideration I've thought about for a week now, there is that risk that you'll always have to take with guys coming off injuries.
Yeah.
Like guys ranging from Steven Stamkos to Sidney Crosby to any player.
And you know what? And that was kind of what happened with Lapierre in the draft. He got picked a lot. He got picked like 22nd when they thought he could have.
Who did he get picked by?
I can't remember. It was like.
Was it Washington? Because you should have mentioned it if it was Washington.
It might have been Washington.
Yes, because Washington traded up with Calgary.
Calgary, yeah.
Yes. But anyway, let's talk about the other goaltenders that have signed. So Devin Dubnyk goes to the San Jose Sharks. And the Wild have made a lot of trades. We will touch on that later, I think, in this video. We'll talk about the goalies first. Devin Dubnyk for a 5th round pick. So here's my question. Minnesota, what is the game plan here? Because Minnesota, honestly, I can't pin them down. Because you know what? They have guys there. And sometimes they overpay guys just for name value. Zuccarello's contract, in my opinion, is a name value buy.
Isn't it Suter that has one of those ridiculous...
Yeah, it's Suter and Parise, but we won't talk about that.
They 12-year deals.
They signed a 12-year deal back
when,
in the old, not the half-season lockout, and that contract is going to go till they're like 40s. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that the Minnesota Wild have made moves at times that I understand, like re-signing Spurgeon, re-signing Greenway for 2 years at a $2.1 million hit. That's fine. They got in Nick Bonino in exchange for Luke Cunnin, which, you know what? Say what you will about guys on a decline, they're still going to produce, and they got higher picks, I think, than they did anyway.
That's good.
However, here's what I don't get. You trade away Devin Dubnyk. Now, I'm going to look at Devin Dubnyk's cap hit here.
Who did Minnesota get?
Yeah, this is what I'm getting to.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. I remember who they got now. Yeah.
Devin Dubnyk, they trade away. Devin Dubnyk makes about, let me see on cap friendly here.
It's not great.
Oh, a lot of goaltending contracts can be hit or miss. It's a lot like
no.
defensemen, but usually it's a lower thing.
Although I already know what your thing is on defensemen getting paid.
Yeah, but no.
How much is he getting paid?
This isn't even that bad, honestly.
Oh, is it really? How much did he get paid?
Because he got paid a front-loaded contract.
Oh, so they would
His
have paid...
cap hit is technically $4.5 million, but it's actually $2.5 million.
Because they paid more of that in prior
They
years.
paid 2 seasons where he got paid $5 million in 17-18 and 18-19.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has a modified no trade clause, but I guess Minnesota wasn't on it. And so they trade him away on his last year.
What do you mean Minnesota? Yeah,
Minnesota trades him away.
No, I think you mean San Jose. What was like he was?
He was traded to San Jose.
Yeah, no, but you said Minnesota wasn't on it.
Oh, yes.
I think you mean San Jose.
Yes, yes, you're right. But then they get Cam Talbot for 3 years at $3.6 million.
I don't like
Cam Talbot has not, like, when we think about Cam Talbot as a starting goalie, where do we think of it? Edmonton. Is that a sign of a solid starting goaltender when he's Edmonton's starting goalie?
And you know what? There's not even just that. Like, what did Holtby sign for again? It was like 4.4. Is that what it was?
Holtby signed for 4.3 for 2 years.
4.3. Okay.
The trick is
Now,
2 years,
okay.
not 3.
Okay, but yeah, there's that. But when I look at those two contracts, I think, in terms of money, they're not that far off. And when I look at Holtby and I look at Talbot, Holtby has had years where he has shown that he is a fantastic starting goaltender. Cam Talbot's never really had that. He's never had a breakout season like Holtby has. And he's never shown himself to really be like a reliable starter. Like he kind of... I have this category for goalies that I have sometimes where... Like and Murray's starting to fall into it.
Go on.
Of goalies that I feel like have just they start off being pretty reliable, but then you get them into a mix. Okay, but I said, well, yeah, exactly. He started off reliable. He started off doing really well,
okay.
But then eventually you get into this mix where you then have him and his backup constantly switching. Like for example, like Talbot, like who is his backup?
What year are we talking?
Oh,
Because 1 year it was Koskinen, and the other year it was David Riddick.
Because especially with Riddick. Him and Riddick switched out.
Riddick's been like that for the last 2 years. He's not going to be like that this year, no. And you know
Yeah,
why?
And
Do you know why?
He's with...
Because, no, not because of anything David Riddick
Yeah.
did, but because that'll move us, actually. Are you done on Cam Talbot, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, honestly, I don't see a 3-year deal being smart with him, because I thought Alex Stalock was supposed to be your guy moving forward, because he seemed to be playing more regularly. But you know what? If your team sucks, you're in our division, I don't feel bad. I don't. Sorry. Eat a brick.
Can I talk about the...
Let's first talk about what that leads us to with goaltending. Big fish in the terms of goaltending. Jacob Markstrom, 6 years, $6 million.
And he signed with who again?
He signed with the Calgary Flames.
Flames.
Calgary was desperate for a goaltender.
You know what? Good move.
Honestly, okay.
I
They're gonna regret those last 1 to 2 years, I think.
How much are?
He's not gonna be worth $6 million by the end of the
how
contract.
How many years?
6 years.
Okay,
He's not gonna be worth $6 million the entire way. But you know what? If you load the contract in a certain way, you'll get your money's worth.
I was about to say, if they're gonna make this deal, I'm hoping that they kind of front load it, so that way, in those last 2 years, it doesn't kill their cap hit.
I'd pay him. I'd do 6, 7, 7, and then 5, and then just kind of work it down from that. Like, the first 3 years, you want to get your higher end of the contract out.
Start with 7.
Maybe.
I'd start with 7.
Yes.
I'd go to probably stay at 7 for the next year. Go down to 6.5 and then drop it.
Okay.
Straight down.
That's not bad.
That's what I'd do.
Now this is so Louis Domingue also signed there, which is weird because he was the backup in Vancouver, not Thatcher Demko, the third string goalie. And then he also signed in Calgary for $700K. So great. So David Riddick cannot catch a break to save his life if he's not playing behind Mike Smith, Cam Talbot. He's now playing behind Jacob Markstrom and Louis Domingue. If Louis Domingue is your goaltender, you've dug too far.
Oh, yeah.
You've dug too far down. You're like, oh, man, well, how did we get here? Like, Louis Domingue was the goalie that teams would hope they got to play against on that Lightning team that won 62 wins in a season. When they lost, he was in the net. Like... He is the guy to lose. So Corey Crawford. And you know what? This is a theme, though.
Crawford
a lot of years
with
for 2 years,
New Jersey,
3.9 mil. That's okay because they bought out Corey Schneider.
I was about to say, this is after the Corey Schneider got bought out. Which
yes. Now, here's the thing.
Moose goalie.
He's getting paid 3.9.
Yep.
I don't know his role, though. Because, you know what? Everyone's like, oh, it's Corey Crawford. No. Mackenzie Blackwood is a great goalie. The New Jersey Devils has been systematically trying to murder that man, and he doesn't deserve it. Mackenzie Blackwood has had to put up with so much crap, he should be filing a lawsuit against the defenseman for harassing him that much. He gets no help on defense. There's so many odd man rushes. It's like a freaking robbery going on in there. It's like, oh, take my lunch money. Oh, take my TV. Oh, take my furnace. Oh, take my kitchen appliances. Like, it's so embarrassing. When PK Subban is on the penalty kill, you're not trying defensively.
Yeah, not the most defensive.
Subban's not a defensive defenseman.
Not even close.
No.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like,
the
Corey
Devils
Crawford's
they
gonna
don't
be,
have the defense that they had.
Crawford's gonna be. I see this situation going 1A, 1B. Because Blackwood should be the goalie.
And obviously Washington, their big sign with.
So
Henrik
they lose.
Lundqvist.
Yeah, Henrik Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist is Henrik Lundqvist signed for $1.5 million at 1 year. So what this is Lundqvist is going to be the second goalie. And people are thinking, and if anyone, and here's why. I think Lundqvist knows he's going to be the second goalie because he asked for $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Because if we're comparing these contracts here, like Kincaid asked for 2 years at $8.75 average. Like, Lundqvist and who's a good comparable this year? Lundqvist and I would even say Smith are in very like similar situations. Mike Smith signed for 1 year at $2 million, re-signed with the Oilers, and he did this with the Oilers because the Oilers could not find a goalie that matched their price range. So they just decided, you know what, Mike, come home, come back, let's try again. Maybe you'll score an empty net goal for us, and that'll be cool. But like, they're guys that are just aging, and they're just they're trying to stave off the aging process, and they've been doing a decent job. But all it's done is leave them in.
Hearing something about Jim Rutherford.
No, we're not talking about Jim
Trying to
Rutherford.
stem off the aging process.
Jim Rutherford is. He's not doing great, but he's not
too old.
doing
Get him out of
bad.
here.
No, there's plenty of other train wrecks to look at here, but no, I see Samsonov is the goalie for Washington. He's the guy. Phoenix Copley's the third goalie, I would say.
How old is he?
Young. He's
I
one of
know,
the. He was
very...
drafted in the late 2010s, I think, in the first round by Washington.
Yeah, because I was about to say like, and that was the reason that I was thinking like, Lundqvist. There's no way he's getting that starting role because right now, the Caps with them losing Holtby, and them kind of focusing on Samsonov, they're gonna be. You got to build this guy up. He's your.
Do you think Holtby's making
future.
too much money though? I think they had to pay him this because his name is Braden Holtby. This is the name value tax right here.
Yeah.
If his name wasn't Braden Holtby, if it was just Braden some other guy, he would have made like 3/4 to half of this.
There's definitely that
because he sucked.
Do I get to finish the thought?
I'm sorry, but he sucked.
Yeah, I know.
He's not that great anymore.
It's one of those things where like. I think they might sign that deal with the hope that maybe we can because I mean if you look at it this way you have two options with Holtby in the sense of like either he's gonna be exactly the way he was when you got him, or you getting him is gonna revitalize him, and he's gonna because I mean. And I would even somewhat say this with a goalie kind of like Peter Mrazek when the Red Wings got rid of him, which I'm gonna be honest, I never liked it when the Red Wings got rid of him.
Go on.
But when the Red Wings got rid of him, he had done pretty well, and then he kind of fell apart, and then Howard would go in, and then Howard would fall apart, and then you put Mrazek back in, and then he'd fall apart, and then after he's done wimping in the corner,
we're gonna need so many more free agency videos.
He's gonna come back.
There's so much stuff, and we haven't even covered a one position yet.
Now I think I might be getting more storage on my phone sometimes, so I might be able to.
Oh, hallelujah! We can. Are you saying we could break the so frivolous 45-minute mark?
I was thinking the so frivolous.
Oh my god!
But,
no,
yeah.
But let's.
And then eventually, once he moved to Philadelphia, and it didn't really click. But then
cut to the chase.
But then he moved to Carolina, and he finally clicked. He finally got back to where he was, except he stopped falling apart.
Yes and no. I don't think Carolina is happy with their Reimer Mrazek tandem. That's because it fell apart.
You're telling me you're not happy with Optimus Reimer?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Let it be known, I love both of the goalies on the Carolina Hurricanes. However, they're not that amazing. I love both of them. Both of them are amazing human beings, and I personally love them. And I send them cards every day. But
especially Mrazek when he did that Sally or whatever.
Mrazek has 2.
Oh yeah.
But they're not that great. They are the black sheep of the Carolina Hurricanes. They are! Look at them!
The black sheep.
Yeah! Offense?
Oh, boy.
We're good. Defense? Okay. Goaltending? Where's that 42-year-old man when we need him? Get on the ice. Come on, David. Suit up in your blue.
We're getting off topic.
Anyway, so we'll get to the other ones now.
Now,
Kincaid signs for a minor deal, like 2 years, 8.75 average in for New York Rangers. That's fine. Anton Hudobin resigns with the Dallas Stars at $3.5 million.
It's fine.
It's good, but you have to remember for 3 years that Anton Hudobin is the backup.
Yeah,
He played amazing, but he's the backup. Ben Bishop's the guy. Ben Bishop's a better goalie.
And I have a feeling like Dallas going into next season,
1A, 1B?
whether Ben go
1A, 1B?
I feel like they're gonna get into the switching tandem between the two, and I'm not sure how it's gonna go.
Okay. What do you think of? I'm just looking to see how many goalies. I feel like we're only gonna do the goalies this time.
Are we only gonna do goalies? Because
we're at the 20-minute mark.
Because I have another one I want to discuss, but we're kind
well. If you want to record another video after this, then we can.
We'll figure that out.
But if you can't, then we won't.
Well, we'll figure it out.
We can record post another one. But the only other one I feel like is very prevalent to you. Well, okay, first off, we will say Malcolm Subban re-signed in Chicago, 2 years at $900K. It's good, very interesting though, because Chicago doesn't actually have a starting goalie.
Yeah.
Like, Malcolm Subban is not the guy. Like, that guy, I've seen him bounced around from backup position to backup position, and it just hasn't clicked. He's been on Boston, Vegas, and Chicago, and he hasn't really looked good in any of them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Malcolm, but tough break.
Not quite.
What other goalies are even left in the market?
I don't think there's that much to talk about.
Well, Thomas Greiss got signed by the Red Wings for 2 years.
I like that.
I'll let you discuss
Howard's gone, and I think either Howard is going to get a very small contract and a very short-term contract.
1.5 years for two. 1.5 mil for
1 year. I wouldn't even do two. I wouldn't even say 2.
2 years, but it can be bought out after one.
Maybe. I feel like that. I feel like they would just do.
But he just got let go by. Here's why I don't think Howard. Actually, I don't think Howard's gonna get a 2-year contract, or he might not get signed, like at all. Well, he probably will, because there's always market for a veteran goalie just to sit there. But like the team that let him go, was literally a team in the place where you'd expect a team to invest in him. Like guys like, I'll explain. Like Chicago is not the Chicago of old. Okay, they have new talent coming through, especially now that they've traded Brandon Saad, Kubalik, DeBrincat, Strome,
Kubalik.
They're getting Calder voting. He was on my fantasy team. He was good. Yeah, he did. He resigned. It was good. But anyway, I'm saying though is that Jimmy Howard got, like, Corey Crawford got picked up by a team like New Jersey. New Jersey's on a slower rebuild than New York for obvious reasons. One,
New York has completely...
Their first-round draft pick, as of this moment, looks to not have panned out as well as Alexis Lafreniere. That being said, maybe Lafreniere...
Are you talking about... They drafted what?
They drafted... No.
Who
the No!
What's his name?
Jack Hughes!
Oh,
first overall.
I'm talking about this year.
No, I'm comparing why they're like, if we compare, I like looking at the Rangers and Devils rebuild in the similar light, because it's honestly like the New Jersey Devils look like the wimpy younger brother to the New York Rangers. Oh, you got Jacob Trouba, Adam Fox, and Tony DeAngelo. Well, we got PK Subban, fresh off year 3 of his terrible, terrible contract. PK Subban. Watch him put up 17 points. Or something like that. He had like a 27-game drought or whatever.
Offensive defenseman.
And I'm not going to theorize or anything,
offensive
but that
defenseman getting 17 points.
Okay, well, don't quote me. Don't quote me on this. Hang on. If we're fact-checking here... Don't want to get caught up. But, no. But like literally,
let's get back
and-
to the Grice thing.
Grice.
Yeah.
Grice is a good signing for Detroit.
Good sign.
Good sign.
I don't have any problems with that. Now, another signing that Detroit had that I am quite happy with is Bobby Ryan. He, I believe, signed for, what is it?
Hot damn! 18 points! I was off by 1, and I didn't even look at his stat sheet in a year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Anyways,
not great.
great
Great podcast though.
Oh yeah.
Ugly Duckling. It's
Ugly
really funny.
Duckling
It's a
podcast.
really funny name, and I like it. Anyway,
Who doesn't love PK Subban off the ice at least? You're gonna find somebody. Okay.
What's his name? Michel Therrien. That's a Habs joke for you right there.
Ever since he started using Listerine every month.
Shut up. Keep moving. We got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but
We're just gonna cover goalies
and
this
yeah,
time. That's how it's
and a
turned out.
few other stuff like Bobby Ryan signing I quite like, and he got what was it? Yeah, I know, I see. He signed what 1
You
year,
wanna-
1 mil, something like that.
Yeah, you want to touch
1 year,
on the rest of the Red Wings?
And you know,
just for you?
yeah, I don't really have much Stetcher to talk about.
I can talk about Stasher.
Yeah, but
John Merrill?
But okay, I'm still talking about the Bobby Ryan thing. Let me get there.
Okay.
Now, I like the signing for Detroit because the thing that I feel like they're going to use Bobby Ryan for is they're going to use him in their lineup throughout the year. However, I feel like it's going to be a good rental player at the trade deadline that they're going to try to give away and get something out of it. I think that's what the intent there is by Eiserman.
You know what? That's not bad, actually.
Do you think of it? Think it. It's only a $1 million cap hit.
Well, okay, here's the thing. His cap hit is irrelevant because you don't pay
And
it at the trade deadline. All the caps that work have to work before the year, but going into the year, going into the playoffs, you can be over the cap. It's a complicated process where at the trade deadline, you don't need to balance your budget quite as much because that's just going into playoff mode. It's weird how they do it.
But him getting paid
But
less,
they don't.
helps.
It means you can't sign every player to contracts, but you can obtain players that push it over the limit after the season started at a certain point. It's a complicated process, and I'm not going to pretend to fully understand it, but that's how it works. I see Ryan getting flipped if what you're saying is true.
Yeah,
and that's a long-term deal.
And you know what? I think that's what they're gonna do.
That's a long-term.
I think it's a smart move.
That would work. I would see him getting flipped for a second and a third if he puts up his potential.
And yeah, there's that.
Otherwise, you're only getting him for like a third and a fourth.
But even if we get him for only a third and a fourth, that's a third and a fourth for nothing because we got him from free agency. We did not get him from a trade.
What an optimistic Red Wings fan. We have no expectations. We're playing with house money.
Hey, you know what? Now that we got Eiserman, we know we have somebody who can actually draft.
You sound like a kid. You sound like a 5-year-old getting allowance for nothing. It's like, well, I can spend this money because I technically shouldn't have it. Like they don't expect me to save up. But I'm 5.
Shut up. But just like if he performs the way he can, and we get a second and third out of this, I see it as an absolute win.
Okay. So I'll just touch on the other things.
And it might have been one of those things where, like, Eiserman's talking to Bobby Ryan saying, like, hey, like, you know, if you want to go on a cup contending team, it makes more sense to go here rather than to sign with, a great team to start with, because occasionally they don't do so great, if you've ever heard of the San Jose Sharks.
Okay, so, quick now, just because we're going to talk about the Red Wings, because you know what?
Yeah.
Carter likes them. I don't know why. John Merrill. Signed for 1 year at $925K. Good contracts. Death piece in Vegas that didn't have any room to go there. Like far on the depth chart, but that's because Vegas is stacked offensively. Also, Troy Stetcher, solid bit that Vancouver couldn't pay for. 2 years, 1.7 mil. Looks good. And I believe that'll be it. And so, if you stop kicking my seat, Thank you everybody for watching. We're sorry that we didn't get to everything right now. There's just been so much
We will
stuff.
have more covering this.
We are probably gonna maybe either
we'll figure something out.
The Jets will have its own video. We might do one on defensemen and forwards on stuff that's supposed to
we're
go.
gonna hold off a little bit on the Pietrangelo stuff and the Hall stuff.
For the record, I have Pietrangelo going to Vegas, but Vegas has to trade away
Yeah.
Fleury for a first round with the first round pick in tow because
I have the exact
everybody
same thing.
knows.
Well, not well. I have them trading away Fleury. I didn't.
I have them trading away Fleury with the first round pick because I think that's because everybody knows they need to trade away Fleury to Pittsburgh. That's where I think it goes. Okay, that's just my quick prediction. Thank you for watching.
The band back
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell everyone about it.